Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we're reading the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, text number 22. Yadricha lava santushto
Yadricha lava santushto
Janvatito vimatsava
Janvatito vimatsara
Samasida visadocha
Samasida vasidocha
Kritva pina nipadyate
Kritva pina nipadyate
Yadricha lava santushto
Yadricha lava santushto
Janvatito vimatsara
Janvatito vimatsara
Samasida visadocha
Samasida vasidocha Kritva pina nipadyate
Yadricha lava santushto
Yadricha lava santushto
Janvatito vimatsara
Janvatito vimatsara
Samasida visadocha
Samasida vasidocha
Kritva pina nipadyate
Kritva pina nipadyate Yadricha lava santushto Yadricha lava santushto Dvanvatito vimatsara Dvanvatito vimatsara Samasiddha vasiddhauscha Samasiddha vasiddhauscha Kritva pina nipadyate Kritva pina nipadyate
Yadricha lava santushto
Yadricha lava santushto
Janvatito vimatsara
Dvanvatito vimatsara
Samasidau asidaucha
Samasida vasiddhauscha
Kritva pina nipadyate
Kritva pina nipadyate
Yadricha lava santushto
Yadricha lava santushto
Janvatito vimatsara
Dvanvatito vimatsara
Samasida asidaucha
Samasida vasiddhauscha
Kritva pina nipadyate
Kritva pina nipadyate
Yadricha lava santushto
Yadricha lava santushto
Dvanvatito vimatsara
Dvanvatito vimatsara
Samasida asidaucha
Samasida vasiddhauscha
Kritva pina nipadyate
Kritva pina nipadyate
Yadricha lava santushto
Yadricha lava santushto
Janvatito vimatsara
Dvanvatito vimatsara
Samasida asidaucha
Samasida vasiddhauscha
Kritva pina
na nipadyate.
Yatricha labha santusto.
Yatricha labha santusto.
Dvandva tito vimatsara.
Dvandva tito vimatsara.
Samasiddhau asiddhau cha.
Samasiddhau asiddhau cha.
Kritva pina nipadyate.
Kritva pina nipadyate.
Yatricha labha santusto.
Yatricha labha santusto.
Dvandva vimatsara.
Dvandva tito vimatsara.
Samasiddhau asiddhau cha.
Samasiddhau asiddhau cha.
Kritva pina nipadyate.
Kritva pina nipadyate.
Yatricha labha santusto.
Yatricha labha santusto.
Dvandva tito vimatsara.
Dvandva tito vimatsara.
Samasiddhau asiddhau cha.
Samasiddhau asiddhau cha.
Kritva pina nipadyate.
Kritva pina nipadyate.
Yatricha,
Yatricha,
of its own accord.
of its own accord.
Icha,
Icha,
with gain.
with gain.
Santushta,
Santushta,
satisfied.
satisfied.
Dvandva,
Dvandva,
duality.
duality.
Atita,
Atita,
surpassed.
surpassed.
Vimatsara,
Vimatsara,
free from envy.
free from envy.
Sama,
Sama,
steady.
steady.
Siddhau,
Siddhau,
in success.
in success.
Asiddhau,
Asiddhau,
failure.
failure.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Kritva,
Kritva,
doing.
doing.
Api,
Api,
although. Na,
na,
never.
never.
Nipadyate,
Nipadyate,
becomes effective.
becomes effective.
Translation: He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Maybe you can repeat. He who is satisfied
He who is satisfied
with gain
with gain
which comes of its own accord,
which comes of its own accord,
who is free from duality
who is free from duality
and does not envy,
and does not envy,
who is steady in both
who is steady in both
success
success
and failure,
and failure,
is never entangled,
is never entangled,
although performing action.
although performing actions.
Purport: by His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, a Krishna conscious person does not make much endeavor to maintain his body. He is satisfied with gain which are obtained of their own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as is in his power, and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. He is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service to Krishna, his own service in Krishna consciousness. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of the material world. The duality of the material world is felt in terms of heat and cold, or misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. Om Jnana Timirandasya Dhananjana Salakaya Tatsurmiyam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthavitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Dharitam Samsajivam Sadvaitam Savadhyutam Parijana Sahitam Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padantahana Lalita Shri Vishakhanithamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopishna Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangye Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusrite Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyayascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this fourth chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. And the verse tonight we're reading describes about a person who has achieved perfection in transcendental knowledge. Do we need translation? Is everybody okay? Sorry? You want to translate?
Tamil. எல்லாருக்கும் தமிழ் தேவைப்படுதா இல்லை இங்கிலீஷ் ஓகேங்க யாருக்கு தமிழ் அது இங்கிலீஷ் ஓகே மராஜ் கேரள இங்கிலீஷ் you can understand.
Alright, so the verse tonight is describing about a person who has perfected transcendental knowledge. Quite an elevated stage. You have to be very advanced to come to this kind of level of consciousness in our activities. To be satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord. Prabhupada talks about honest labor. We should not lie and cheat. We should be straightforward in our dealings and be satisfied with the results of our work. Being satisfied is one of the qualities in the mode of goodness. Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita always encourages that we should come to the mode of goodness. Because if we're not in the mode of goodness, then we're in the mode of passion and ignorance, tamas and rajas. And these modes of nature are very bad for us. The more we associate with the passion, then the passion will degrade to ignorance. And that's very bad, very inauspicious. Passion, people use this word passion a lot. They think it's something good. I was coming here and I saw this sign that was talking about coffee. It said, brewed passionately. But they use this word passion a lot. Feel the passion, taste the passion. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes the result of passion is distress. So we should be very cautious about cultivating the mode of passion, because it often ends in distress. What we want to do is elevate ourselves from passion to goodness. And to come up to that level of goodness, we have to develop these qualities which are described here. Just like it mentions, being satisfied with whatever is provided for us by the grace of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna Lord Krishna met a Brahmana. When Lord Krishna was residing in Dwarka, Rukmini had sent a Brahmana to Dwarka to deliver a letter to Lord Krishna. Rukmini was worried because her brother was preparing for her marriage to Shishupal, but Rukmini wanted to marry Lord Krishna. Although she never met, the two of them had never met, but Rukmini had it in her heart that she wanted Krishna for her husband. So she wrote a letter to Lord Krishna, and she sent a Brahmana to Dwarka to give the letter to Krishna. So when the Brahmana came there to Dwarka, Lord Krishna was not too much worried about the letter, but he immediately started to question the Brahmana. And he wanted to know from the Brahmana, are you satisfied performing your duty? Because if you're not satisfied, then you cannot be in the mode of goodness. You cannot fulfill the duties of the Brahmana. So Lord Krishna was very concerned. Brahmanas are very dear to Krishna, right? We say Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmana Devaya. The cows and the Brahmanas are both very dear to Krishna. And so Krishna is always concerned to see that the Brahmanas are keeping up their qualification as Brahmanas, that they're situated in the mode of goodness. And part of being in the mode of goodness is that you should be satisfied. Material life, material world, people don't think in that way. We're always thinking, I want more. And we're very ambitious, and we're encouraged to have a lot of drive and go forward and push it, go to the top. And, that mode, that passionate mode to always increase and expand and get more, that is not the mode of goodness. But what is being described here, the mode of goodness, which is in line with transcendental knowledge. Cultivating transcendental knowledge should detach us from the material energy, and we should be less worried about the material things.
Prabhupada mentions in the purport how one who is in transcendental knowledge, he doesn't worry even very much about his own body. He can live even without caring too much about his own body. Of course, it's a very advanced stage in spiritual realization. We can imitate this, but we should know what is the higher stage of Krishna consciousness. And we see examples like Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami, he's Avadut. Avadut, he's totally detached from the body. He's so detached that he goes around naked. He doesn't even cover his body. But at the same time, he's the most elevated transcendentalist. Then you have other examples, like there's in the 11th canto tells about the Brahmana from Avanti Desh. And it tells about how this one Brahmana, he was very rich, but when he was very rich, he was very miserly. He wouldn't even give money to his own family members, wouldn't give his wife any money, didn't give any money for his servants or anything. And then somehow by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, he lost all of his money. And when he lost all of his money, then everyone deserted him. Everyone left him. His family left him. His servants left him. He was all on his own. So what to do? So he decided he would renounce the world. And he renounced the world and he became a mendicant. And when he went around, people would insult him, because they all knew that before this person had been a rich person and he was very mean and miserly, so they didn't like him. And now he's a mendicant and he's coming begging. And so they were very nasty to him. They would spit on him and they would take away, when he would wash his one piece of cloth, they would steal it from him. They would do everything they could to insult him and give him misery. But that Brahmana was, somehow he had acquired transcendental knowledge. And he understood that whatever's happening, it is just due to the modes of nature. And he shouldn't be worried about it. He remained steady by fixing his mind on the super soul. So that's one elevated way in which you can overcome the difficulties in life. Just tolerating the difficulties and fixing the mind on the super soul. Of course, the very high stage of yoga, very advanced. The purpose of cultivating transcendental knowledge is to detach us from the material world. And the process of cultivating transcendental knowledge is described in this 4th chapter, in the famous verse, text number 34, where Lord Krishna says, "Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master." So this is the process of cultivating transcendental knowledge. You should approach the spiritual teacher. We want to get knowledge, we have to inquire from the spiritual teacher. And when you get that knowledge, the fruit of that knowledge will come in this way, that we will become satisfied with whatever is our situation in the material world. We won't be so attached to having more. We won't be greedy. I want more, I have to get more. We'll just tolerate whatever Krishna gives. We're happy. We accept it. Sometimes Krishna gives, and sometimes he takes. Right? Prabhupada said, God is like someone with 10 arms. If he wants to give you something, he can give you so much. You only have 2 hands. How much can you receive? And he has 10. He can give you so much. And if he wants to take, he can take everything. So watch out, right? How much can you hold on to? He can take everything. So like this is the first quality of one who is fixed in transcendental knowledge. And then, second one, he is free from duality and does not envy. Free from duality. That's been mentioned very early on in the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna speaks about the winter and the summer seasons, and he compares them to happiness and to distress. Alright? Matra spashas tu kuntiya sitoshna sukha dukkata. Agama payeno nityas tam statikshasva bharata. So, titiksha, tolerance. We have to develop that tolerance. Very important quality for devotees. In the Shikshastikam, Lord Chaitanya also speaks about tolerance. How tolerant we should be? More tolerant than the trees. Oh, very difficult, right? Look at the trees, how they tolerate the heat and the cold, the wind and the rain, and people come and cut them, and still they give fruit and flower. So, tolerance, we have to cultivate this tolerance, one of the ornaments of the devotee. And that way, we will be freed from the duality, because these dualities, that is the mind. The mind makes distinctions. I like this, I don't like that. Somebody else likes what we don't like, and they don't like what we like. Everyone has their own likes and dislikes. It's going to be different for different people. Some people like to bathe in cold water, and other people, no, I have to have hot water to bathe. Some people have to have spicy food, and other people, no, I want plain, bland food. It shouldn't be too spicy. So everyone has their own preferences. This is the mind. We're making distinction. What is called manodam, the business of the mind. E bhava, e brahma, e bhava, e brahma, e sabra. We're thinking this is good, this is bad. This is all the business of the mind. So we have to control the mind. How to control the mind? By transcendental knowledge. We all need to cultivate transcendental knowledge. Then we can tolerate the duality. And do not envy. Why should we envy? We're envious of someone's got something more than I've got. Oh, he's got more. Oh, he's got such a nice wife. Oh, he's got so nice children. Oh, he's got more. Like we envy, someone's got something better than us. But that is just only the mind. We're thinking these things, someone has these things, but we don't know what they had in the past, and we don't know what they'll have in the future. All of these things are temporary. They're all objects of the material world. They have a beginning, they have an end. You have the nice family, how long the family will be together. In course of time, the children will grow up, they will go away, they will have their own family. We will also get old, we will die, leave the birth, we will take birth again. There's no reason to envy others. And if we have transcendental knowledge, then we will not envy others. And then steady in both success and failure. When we succeed in something, a devotee will think, by the mercy of Krishna, I have been successful. And when we fail, we will think also, it is the mercy of Krishna. It is the arrangement of Krishna. Sometimes we will succeed, we cannot succeed all the time. And when we fail, we should think, well, failure is the pillar of success. In the future, I will be successful. Just like when we go out for book distribution, we would approach someone for a book, and nobody take one. Oh, he didn't take one. We approach another person. He also didn't take it. And this way you go on, you can approach 5, 10 people, nobody took a book. But you don't give up. You think somebody's going to come who takes the book. You just keep going. So, success and failure, don't be worried about it. These results are arranged by Krishna. The real success is to remember Krishna. And if we don't remember Krishna, that is a failure. Don't be attached to the results. That is important for us. We do our best, we do what we can. If we get good result, Krishna's mercy. And if we don't get good result, it's also Krishna's mercy. The devotee was distributing books one day in an airport in USA. Not very easy. And people are not very friendly. So he offered a book to one man, and the young man punched him in the face. Just hit him. So what did the devotee do? Well, he didn't grab him and, punch him back. But what he did do, he said, "Thank you, Krishna," and went on distributing books. So that is how we should act when we're based in transcendental knowledge. It's important for us to cultivate this kind of knowledge. And how do we cultivate that knowledge? By hearing from Prabhupada. Read Prabhupada's books and study the Bhagavad Gita. We're having so many nice courses now in Malaysia. Are any of you doing the Bhakti Shastri course? Yes? Some people. And what about the Gita Gyan course? A chapter a day. They have the Gita Gyan, they go one chapter a day. And just 1 hour, they take one chapter, they have PowerPoint presentation. Very nice, very clear, done by Malaysian devotees. Many of the ladies are teaching it. So you should also study this, Gita Gyan, and then you also teach it. And that way you learn it better. When you teach something, then you will learn it better. So we want all of you, you are the teachers. You have to become the teachers. You have to teach the Bhagavad Gita to people. People are in ignorance. They don't have any transcendental knowledge. They have the mundane knowledge. It's avidya. Right? But they don't have vidya. Vidya is transcendental knowledge. So don't be disturbed by success and failure, and never entangled. Such a person is never entangled. So a person is never entangled, although performing actions. Lord Krishna is speaking about this to Arjuna because Arjuna was worried that he's going to be entangled in sinful reactions because he's going to take part in the battle at Kurukshetra. So one of the reasons why Arjuna didn't want to fight, Arjuna told Krishna that there will be sinful reactions. I'm going to fight, I'm going to kill people, I'm going to do so many things. I'll get reactions for that. But Lord Krishna is explaining that if you come to this platform of transcendental knowledge, that even though you're performing actions, you don't get entangled. Entangled means you get caught up in the modes of nature, and our mind becomes confused, we become full of anxiety, and we become very disturbed and emotional. This is all signs we've become entangled. We've become too much attached to getting results. Our expectations are too big. We want to get more than what Krishna wants to give us. So we have to learn to be situated on the platform of knowledge. That is the best platform. On the platform of knowledge, we will see the hand of Krishna in everything. We are always quoting Lord Brahma saying, Ishvara Parama Krishna, that Krishna is the supreme controller. And he is Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So everything is the arrangement of Krishna. And we have to see that. We have to realize that. Not just know it theoretically, but we must realize it. We must be convinced that ultimately it's all Krishna's plan. We are simply the instrument in the hands of Krishna. At least we want to become an instrument in the hands of Krishna. If we're not in the hands of Krishna, then we're in the hands of mind. So, it's one way or the other. Either we're with Krishna or we're with Maya. We have that choice. We have that free will. One who is in knowledge, transcendental knowledge, will take shelter of Lord Krishna. We must surrender to Krishna. Lord Krishna also describes in the Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam Yanmanam Ante Vyanavam Prapadyante Vasudev Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurnava. Lord Krishna is describing the result of the process of knowledge. After many births and deaths, one who is actually in knowledge surrenders to Krishna, Vasudeva, knowing that Krishna, Vasudeva, is everything. Such a soul is rare. That is the end of knowledge. So somebody is doing jnana yoga, just like there are people, they don't have much bhakti, they don't have any real devotion, and they won't chant the Hare Krishna mantra. They just want to read the book, and they want to meditate, and they want to understand the knowledge. Jnanis. They're called Jnanis, or sometimes we would call them Vedantists. Like that. They read many books. So their goal is knowledge. But what is the end of knowledge? Just like there's a book called Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta means the end of knowledge. Veda means knowledge and Anta is the end. So the end of knowledge. And what is the end of knowledge? What do you think? What is the end of knowledge?
Knowing about Krishna.
Krishna, right? Krishna. Krishna says, Vedanta Krit Vedavid Evachaha. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. I am the author. I am the compiler of the Vedas. So the whole purpose of Vedic knowledge is to understand Krishna, to come to Krishna. That is transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge begins by understanding who am I, right? What is our identity? We are thinking we're the body. We identify with the body. But we are not the body. We are all spiritual beings. We're spirit souls. That is the beginning of transcendental knowledge. To know that you are not the body, that you are the soul living in the body. Hey, how did it go? You're living in the body. You have to understand our spiritual identity. But that is only the beginning of transcendental knowledge. Then you have to go on and understand, if I am a soul, then what is my function here? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to do something? Is there any work for me as a soul? I'm a soul. Am I not? I shouldn't do anything. And some people think, well, I'm a soul, I'm God. They're thinking, I'm God. So they don't do anything. They go away from the world, or they sit and do nothing. Or they simply sit and chant, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. Sometimes people, one man told me, he said he was chanting Namo Shivaya, Om Namo Shivaya. But he said, one day I'll be chanting Aham Shivaya. So that is the goal. See, at the beginning he's offering obeisances, but the goal to become Shiva himself. And similarly with the Buddhists, they are chanting Omitoho, Omitoho. They're chanting a Buddhist name, but their goal is to become the Buddha. And they think they're ultimately everyone is the Buddha. That is their thinking. Everybody is the Buddha, and they have even a Buddha world. Everyone's a Buddha. So they don't make distinction between the men and the women. In the Buddha world, there's only Buddhas. There's no men, there's no women, there's only Buddha. So one Buddhist monk was asking me that in Krishna consciousness, are there women? Do you have women in the spiritual world? I said, oh yeah. Very beautiful women. and he said, isn't there any problem? No problem. Everyone is so pure. Everyone is so happy in Krishna. That is the result of transcendental knowledge. Because we lack transcendental knowledge, therefore there are problems in this world. And we see wars, quarrels, arguments, so many problems. Everyone is competing with each other, trying to enjoy sense gratification more than the other. People do not know what is real happiness. They're thinking happiness is to satisfy the body, to satisfy the senses, to satisfy the tongue, to satisfy the hands. They're thinking that is happiness. They do not know that real happiness is within, and real happiness comes from the soul, not from the body. The senses are the source of misery. We're thinking the senses are going to give us happiness, rather it's just the opposite. They give us more distress, they bring us more misery. So very important that we learn to control the senses. And how to control the senses? By chanting Hare Krishna mantra regular, every day. You have to make it your sadhana, your spiritual practice. Every day you want to chant the Mahamantra and try to read scriptures like Bhagavad Gita. Nowadays there are many lectures also online. You can be hearing different people speaking all different languages, Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, whatever language you want. Chinese, Russian is all there. You can get nice discourses with a lot of spiritual knowledge. But most important is we have to chant ourselves. Our spiritual life begins when we are chanting the holy name. So you have to make it a regular program to chant this Maha Mantra. Now in chanting the Maha Mantra, there are no rules about it. Any time, any place you can chant. But still, sometimes, some time in the day is better than other times. And the best time in the day is in the early morning. The early morning hours. You may say, oh no, I have to rush to Singapore early morning. Alright, I have so many, I have to rush. Well, you have to try to adjust your timetable. Try to wake up a little earlier so that you can do some chanting in the early morning. There's a day, auspicious time in the day, which is called Brahma Muhurta. And the Brahma Muhurta is a time which is very good for spiritual advancement. And Prabhupada, and you see temples everywhere, they're like that. They open very early in the morning, so early, like 4:30. Is it early? Well, even the Buddhist temple, they wake up by 4 o'clock in the morning. You'll hear the Muslim prayers, morning prayers also, 4:30 in the morning. You'll hear from the mosque, the reading of Quran. Because they know that auspicious time in the day, it's a good time. If you get in the habit like that, that is for the mode of goodness. Early morning is more peaceful and it's a better time in the day to do chanting. At night, after a whole day, there's so many things happening, and by the evening, you cannot really focus so well on the chanting. So we encourage devotees to try to chant in the morning. And we do have also our morning programs in the temple, where we have classes and pujas and so on. Everything is done more in the morning. In the evening can also be done, but it's especially powerful in the morning. So that's how we can cultivate more the mode of goodness. At night, people are drunk, They go drinking at night, go to clubs at night. A lot of passion, a lot of ignorance is there more in the evening and in the night. Early morning, it's a little more conducive to the mode of goodness. And it's good for our spiritual advancement. So we encourage you also. You want to cultivate this transcendental knowledge. There are certain things which we have to do and things which we should avoid doing. Just like we avoid intoxication, meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, we avoid these things. But certain things which we do, like chanting and hearing and worshipping, praying, going to temple, seeing the deities, as well as honoring spiritual foodstuffs like prasadam. These things very good for our spiritual. So I'm very, very happy to see so many of you could come here this evening. Thank you very, very, very much for giving me an opportunity to address all of you here this evening. Are there any questions?
Yes, Maharaj, say we were chanting and no any rules and regulation. Example like our parents have passed away. Is it possible we go and sit down there and chanting?
Is it possible we go where?
Otherwise, our parents have passed away. So is it possible we sit down there and chanting?
Sit down and chant?
Yeah, because our parents passed away. So we can chanting over there.
In the graveyard, you mean?
Sorry?
What is it? At the graveyard?
No, the house itself.
In the house.
The house.
இறந்து போறாங்களா வீட்டுல.
Pass away, so we asking in the house we can sit and chant.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Of course, if you passed away, you have to take care of the dead bodies, right? You have to take them properly, get the last rites. You've got a duty. Your parents pass away, you have to give them the last rites. Take care for their bodies. The bodies should be properly prepared for the cremation and everything. That's important. You have that duty. After you've done that, then you can chant. You understand?
Yeah.
Maharaj, actually in the morning we go and pluck flowers, and during that time we pass by the garden. There are small insects, especially like this now is rainy season, so you have got the small what do you call snails. So unknowingly we step on it, but we will be continue chanting, or we'll just sing some songs while plucking. Is it beneficial to that those living beings because they are dying because we are stepping, but at the same time?
Well, I don't know about that it's beneficial to them, but I don't think you get any sinful reactions for doing it. We don't do it on purpose, of course. Try not to step on these things. We do want to be careful. We know Magrani Hunter is going to meet Narada Muni and he's sweeping the insects out of the way. So if you know there are some snails and things there, be careful how you step and try to avoid them. But do the snails benefit because they've been killed by a devotee? Well, they'll get a higher life form. Yeah. I don't know how much benefit we'll get, but we'll get a higher form of life.
Because when the soul passes, we are still chanting.
Yes.
So that should.
I don't know how much they're hearing though. The snails, you know, being killed by a devotee, of course. We certainly pray for the snails, so that they will get a higher form of life, some contact, and can become devotees.
And even they also have this Ekadashi, because during Ekadashi if they passed away, they also will be able to get liberated, Maharaj.
So, just because they pass away on ecology.
Yes.
They're not devotees.
Yes.
They're not chanting. They don't. No, not so easy to get liberated. Just because they leave the body on ecology, it doesn't have any significance. They have to be observing ecology.
But at least if they pass away in front of acharya or a highly liberated soul and in front of their eyes, if it is passing away, that definitely it will be beneficial for that.
They pass away in front of a devotee, an acharya.
Yes.
A living acharya, they
Yes.
pass away. But that's very auspicious. Yeah. That's certain. Because in the presence of the acharya, in the presence of a devotee, then they will be hearing the holy name. The acharya will be chanting the holy name and reminding them about Krishna. So if they leave the body in the presence of such a great personality, it's very good for them. Not that they'll get back to Godhead, but they'll get definitely an opportunity for future life to associate with the devotees. They take birth in a family of devotees, so they can continue. But you don't get back to Godhead immediately.
Thank you, Maharaj.
How about Maharaj? Let's say they have a sudden death, the accident like that, they die, Maharaj, like that. It's a devotee, but
Who?
devotee.
A devotee dies suddenly.
Yeah, suddenly like accident. So
Well, devotee dies suddenly. The Puranas say that he may not have had the opportunity to be thinking of Krishna at that moment, but throughout his life he had dedicated himself to the service of Krishna. Then Krishna does not forget him. He gets the result of his work. If he'd been working regularly throughout his life in the service of Lord Krishna, then certainly Krishna will take care to deliver that.
Hare
Yeah, we see some devotees, living in unusual circumstances, like, Tamal Krishna Goswami departed in a motor car accident, and then also His Holiness Bhakti Charan Swami departed in COVID. So, not very easy for them to be, fully absorbed in Krishna, not like they're just sitting, hearing, and waiting to leave the body. But because they dedicated their life for the service of Krishna, then certainly Krishna will deliver them. Because they were so dedicated, they put everything, their whole life, so many years, fully dedicated to the service of Krishna. And so although they died in unusual circumstances, Krishna would not forget them. Krishna would take care of them.
Maharaj, one more. Let's say it's a beginner, just joining. So they have an option to do the deity worship. Also, they have a limited time. They have an option to do the deity worship. Either they have to do the chanting. Which one is their preference should be, Maharaj? Which one they have to give the first?
Should do the chanting. Chanting is first. You're going to do deity worship? Okay, that's alright, but the first thing is the chanting. If you think you can do deity worship and not chant, it's not good, not right. You cannot. Deity worship will not have any effect without the chanting. The chanting is what will nullify all any offences which we may perform, which we may commit in the course of our deity worship. So sometimes people think, deity worship is so important, but the first business of devotee is chanting the holy name. And particularly in the Kali Yuga, there's no other way but by the holy name. So we do the chanting and then the deity worship.
வேற ஏதாவது கேள்விகள் இருக்குங்களா?